welcome back. We just wrapped up a session on the impact, of cocoa business as it concerns the Nigerian economy, so it can begin to diversify our economy. Now we're moving forward to discuss. Today, like I said earlier on, is World Environment Day, and it started, I think the first celebration was in Sweden in 1974. And we have in the studio with us here to discuss how our habits, how our actions affect our environment, human impact on the environment. I have Mr. Shodeke Ademola. He is the president, EHOAN, EHOAN, and that thing stands for Environmental Health Officers Association of Nigeria. Mr. Shodeke, welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you. Good.
And next I have with me Mr. Adekunle, Engineer Adekunle. And Engineer Adekunle, welcome to the studio, sir.
It's a pleasure, sir.
Thank you very much. Now, I will take you down history, if possible, down creation story. Now, from the creation story, it's written that the Creator made man and placed him in the garden to tend to the garden and make sure it's good. Now, 21st century man, he's now the enemy of his own environment. Now, how do we get here?
Well, thank you very much. You see, the problem we have is very not far-fetched. In quest for what to eat, how to live our life that it will be pleasing to us, especially, and to people around us, has made man to really go into the environment. Instead of building his, man is now destroying it. Many of the ways by which we tap the resources in the environment so as to make ends meet or to make money that will sustain us is the one now that is degrading the environment.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Engineer Adekunle. Now, Adeoton, yeah. What is your view as to how man pollutes his environment now? Because I will still come back to the theme of the year for the World Environment Day. But I'll need you to help throw more light, sensitize our viewers how they pollute their own environment.
Thank you. It is necessary for us to know what pollution itself is before you go into talking about how it's being polluted. Pollution itself is just a way of releasing undesirable substances into the environment. And these substances invariably get to the level where it becomes harmful to man as well as the entire planet. We pollute, just as Mr. Shodeke said. Man must survive. But then forgetting the purpose of man in the environment. Thank God you made a citation of Genesis chapter 2 verse 15. You dress and keep. That was the first assignment God gave man. To dress the garden and to keep it. And that's environmental management. But over time, we are only concerned about ourselves. The immediate pleasure and not the sustainability of what we do. There is hardly any activity man undergoes that does not have the other side. It's just like a coin.
Two sides.
Yeah.
Two sides. Someone made an analogy: a white sheet of paper, then a black spot within, just small one. What do you see? Is the black spot. You don't want to talk about the
major part of the
part.
paper.
But when it comes to personal pleasure, it's the white spot. We don't want to see the dark spot. It's like talking about life. People don't want to hear about death, which is inevitable.
True.
Okay. Take for instance, someone just left here talking about agriculture. Agriculture is a subset of the environment. Without the environment, there cannot be agriculture. When you want to farm, the natural forest you have to clear. You started imparting on the environment.
But it has to be,
yes,
one way or the other.
That's why we talk about sustainability.
Okay.
While you undergo, or before you started those activities, you need to consider, okay, this is going to give me pleasure. How am I constituting nuisance to my neighbors, to the air, to the land, to the water? And even by the time I'm done with what I'm doing, how do I restore this place? Because you are displacing a lot of things. The vegetation and the entire biodiversity, and you are bringing something else, and in the process of time you start applying fertilizer. That's chemical,
and it affects the
it goes into the ground. The soil texture is affected, the microbes are affected. They are as important as, it's just like the earthworm, you know, it does its own work too. And at a stage you begin to apply pesticide. So all these actions, among many others, are really impacting our environment.
Okay.
And the accumulation of it will get to the stage that it becomes harmful to people. You apply fertilizer, rain falls, and it washes it off to the stream, surface water.
Affects the fish on the ground.
Besides, in some villages, they still drink stream water.
Up till now, yes.
Just downstream.
And it goes down, affects the body.
And you now continue to talk about sickness, diseases, and all the rest.
Engineer, sir, I could not help but notice you were writing down some notes. You might want to add to Sashureke's point. I don't know.
Thank you so much. I want to submit that the issue of emission control, just as he said, there was a time in the States, that was in the immediate past administration, even before the immediate past administration, where there was a scheme. Even the past administration, there was still that scheme. But if we look at our transport system, in Nigeria, our concentration is on roads. When we have some other modes,
now we can focus on
the rail that the federal government is trying to do something about now, the airports and the seaports, waterways, airways. because of concentration on roads, the volume of traffic on roads is for necessity. Because if you want to move from place to place, you need to move, and that's the only means available. And thank God, as part of the diversification program of the federal government, the railway is coming. And gradually, by the time the volume of use of vehicle reduces, that will also complement the emission control. What I'm telling you now is that the volume of vehicles on the road actually does not make the effect of emission control being felt. Just a couple of weeks ago, the initiative of federal government made them to send some clean cook stoves to the states, just like any other state. And these were distributed to the people, just as Madam spoke about a neighbor using stove. There is no how you use fossil fuel that it will not release harmful substances into the air. And just as she said, the effect is transboundary. Pollution is no respect of any person. It goes far and wide. So that's with the distribution of the clean cook stove. I know by the time the people start using it, a lot of people will start migrating from what they are using to adopt that method of cooking, and that is going to begin to reduce even the emissions. Then incineration. That's open incineration. Just as I said earlier on, people need enlightenment. The knowledge you don't know, you cannot apply. Yes. When these things go into when people do this, they are ignorant of what. In fact, when you try to accost or arrest anyone doing it, we will just tell, what is it? Is it not the normal thing? But it is not normal. And these are adding to the issue at hand. But by and large, there is no how we will not use energy. There is no how we will not produce one thing or the other. And in the effort to do any of this, we release harmful substances into the atmosphere. And what is being emphasized now is, in the issue of energy, we begin to think of renewable energy. Even the gas we are talking about, it's only that the amount of emission is less than others. It's not that it is not emitting greenhouse gases that is causing all this climate change. We know what the weather is like. We can't say right now whether we're in rainy season or dry season. It's because of these releases that is affecting the weather.
Okay. At this juncture, would open phone lines so that our viewers at home can call in and share their views or ask questions as regards human impact on the environment. But you can call in and share your opinions. But while we're expecting callers from home, I would like to ask Sashireke, in Abeokuta here, the way we dispose our debt, we put them in front of our houses where the trailer comes to pick it up. Now that's better than setting them on fire. Now sometimes it gets to be left there for 2 days, 3 days before they come, probably weekend, or up to a month in some places. Now when they stay there for long, does it affect the health of the people living there? If yes, how?
It affects the health of the people living there because we have two types of refuse. We have biodegradable refuse and non-degradable refuse.
Please break that down.
If it's biodegradable refuse, immediately you dump it there, putrefaction will start there, microorganisms will start acting on that refuse. And if you watch closely, there will be gases that will be coming out of that refuse. And anybody that breathes in that gas can have problem.
That's the much we can take on this session. It has been quite educative, I must confess. But we must not forget to appreciate Mr. Sodeke Ademola. He is the president of the Environmental Health Officers Association of Nigeria, and to Engineer Adekunle Adeoton. He is the director of Planning Research Statistics. Thank you very much, sirs, for coming to the studio this morning to educate our viewers. Thank you very much.